Hey ghouls, Terror Krueger, the sweetest psychopath you'll ever meet, and welcome back to my channel. Hey ghouls, and welcome back to another True Crime and Chill. Today we are going to go over the serial killer or liar, Henry Lee Lucas and Ottis Toole. Now, he is quite well known in the serial killer community, but I feel like I haven't seen too much on him. I actually recently discovered while doing the research for this video that there's actually a Netflix documentary, I believe, about him, but I've never heard of it or seen it. So I'm still gonna go ahead and bring to you today the story of Henry Lee Lucas, and we get a bonus serial killer, Ottis Toole. So these two are something. It is said to believe that Henry Lee Lucas kind of fibbed a little bit about his body count. For what reason, I don't know. Fame and attention. Can you believe I don't know, a gay guy wanting attention, craving attention? I don't know. That's so weird. I've never heard that before. But anyways, I'm super excited to get into today's story. I really, like I said before, I love doing these videos, and I have gotten such a great response. I even have my family and friends who watch me, surprisingly, are like, oh my god, who's the next serial killer you're gonna do, or what true crime story you're gonna do next? And I'm like, oh my god, I don't know, I feel like people are getting really into this, so I'm getting really excited because I love researching this and learning more about myself as we go along. And I definitely did that today. I learned some things I did not know about Henry Lee Lucas. So enough rambling, and let's get into today's story. So Henry Lee Lucas was born August 23rd, which, if everything goes to plan, I didn't plan this, this video will actually go up on his birthday. He's dead though, he died in 2001. But anyways, Henry Lee Lucas was an American serial killer who was committing his crimes through 1960 to 1983. He was convicted of 11 of the murders, but claims to have killed over 200, and according to him, with Otis Toole, to have at least participated in over 1,000 murders. But so I feel like this is a common thing amongst serial killers, because I know last week in The Monsters of Escatepec, it said that Juan Carlos's mother was a prostitute and would make him watch her have sex with her clients. And looking up Henry Lee Lucas, he actually kind of had the same thing growing up. His mother was a prostitute, and she would make him watch as she serviced her clients. I don't know why that's a thing these people do. Weird and disgusting. When I have trade over, girl, I don't even like my dog in the room. Girl, get out. Do not see me doing these sinful deeds. But I don't know, that's just so bizarre and so fucking weird and disgusting, and I think obviously that would make me a little fucked up too. I don't know if I go killing people if I was ever in that situation, which is disgusting. Anyways, off topic. Also similar to this, his mother also made him cross-dress and would go out publicly, and school teachers later confirmed in the trial that it was true that his mother did make him dress up as a woman, and well, not dress up as a woman, you know, she would just put a dress on this little boy and send him off to school and everything like that, and she would later out pimp him to men and stuff, you know. Mother of the year, right? Similar to this, Charles Manson, in his upbringing too, I believe it was his uncle who would force him to dress up in women's clothing and send him out in public as punishment and stuff. I don't know, it's just quite bizarre. That, I don't know what's with the cross-dressing and fucking people up. He was 10 years old. He did get into an altercation with his older brother, which resulted in him losing an eye, and it was said to even that he would use to grab attention. He would take his eye out or freak the other kids out. Also, he had a really whack appearance. I mean, as a kid he didn't look as methy as he did in prison, but he had that meth mouth Bugs Bunny teeth going on, missing a fucking eye, and then of course him being sent out in women's clothing as a kid. So obviously he was just very weird to kids. Also, growing up, he would also have sex with his brother and the dead bodies of animals. But it's it says teen years, but then it says he also dropped out of the 6th grade and ran away from home at this point. So I don't remember, how old are you in 6th grade? Are you a teenager yet? I don't think so, right? No? I don't know. I don't remember. I don't remember school. So at the age of 18, he was convicted and arrested for a couple of burglaries. He also escaped prison and was captured again 3 days later. Although that time in prison, he didn't spend too much time in there. He was released. January of 1960, Henry did move back to Michigan with his mother. Obviously, they weren't on good terms because of the fucked up childhood he had, but his mom really wanted him to stay living with her because she was getting older and she wanted him to take care of her in her old age. Obviously, he was not too compliant with that, and it did result into an altercation where she hit him in the head with a broom, and he got super furious that he actually killed his mother. Henry Lee Lucas quoted, "All I remember was slapping her alongside the neck, but after I did that, I saw her and decided to grab her. But she fell to the floor, and when I went back to pick her up, I realized she was dead. Then noticed I had a knife in my hand and she had been cut." So he like just slashed her across the throat, killing her probably instantly, or at least I don't know. He was then arrested in Ohio and charged second-degree murder. He claims that he killed his mother in self-defense, but he was sentenced to 20 to 40 years in prison. But however, in 1970, he was actually released because of overcrowdings in the prison. Like, you think they would just release someone who, like, I don't know, had a drug charge or like something less severe than murder, like especially killing your mother? Like, if this fool murdered his mother, like, I think he's pretty much capable of murdering pretty much anyone else. So in 1971, a year after being released from prison, he was once again arrested for attempting to kidnap 3 schoolgirls. In that time in prison, he grew affectionate for a family friend, and I don't remember if they said her name. I couldn't find her name. But he grew affectionate for her. So when he was released from prison in 1975, he married her about, I think, a year after and moved in with her. Shortly after, the stepdaughter accused him of sexually assaulting her, and he left the family. So the story kind of gets a little like all over the place for me. Like, I don't know if they had an open relationship or what, but apparently after meeting, Henry Lee Lucas and Otis Toole became really good friends. The relationship turned sexual and they began dating, allegedly, or apparently. I'm not too sure. But they did move in with Otis Toole's mother, and he had a niece named Becky Powell. Eventually, Henry Lee Lucas like grew up like interested in her and asked if she wanted to run away to California with them, and they both did, where they got a job working for an 82-year-old woman named Kate Rich. Eventually they were fired because they were accused of stealing from her. At this point, Becky was getting like really homesick and just frustrated with, I guess, the lifestyle they were living, and Henry Lucas claims that she left him stranded in Bowie, Texas as she went back home. So finally, in June of 1983, Henry Lee Lucas is arrested for unlawful possession of a firearm, and at the time he admits to the murdering of Kate Rich and Becky Powell. He does take the police to the remains, and it was really like eager to like show them like, oh, look what I did. Like I said, he was just star hungry, I guess, whatever. So he was really like he really participated in helping the police find the remains and telling them what they needed to know. While locked up, Henry also claimed that he was being tormented by the other inmates, which, if so, who cares? He's a serial killer. He also said that the prison guards or whatever would also torture his genitals, deny him his cigarettes, and just other really fucked up shit to him apparently. But then at one point in 1983, he started confessing to all these unsolved murders, and then he was granted special treatment that had never ever been given to any other convict before. He was allowed to roam the police station freely, and he was even taken to restaurants by the cops and taken to restaurants to buy his favorite milkshakes every day. I guess just because he was being so cooperative, I can't say that word. He was doing what they wanted, and he was confessing to all these unsolved crimes. But later it was found out that he was just a bullshitter, because at one point he wouldn't really give any full details until he was reading the file, because they would give him the file, show it to him, and ask, did you kill this person? And then he would read through it and be like, oh yeah, I did this and that. So that eventually he did own up to over 200 murders, but later on he was found out that he was lying about it. During the investigation for some of the murders that he claims that he committed, there was a lot of evidence found that proved that he was not the murderer in that case, and also a lot of what he was saying didn't make sense because of the time of the murders and the distance of traveling and where he was. None of it just didn't make sense, so it was kind of pretty obvious that he was lying. So on March 12th of 2001, Henry Lee Lucas was found dead in his jail cell due to natural causes. I believe he died of heart failure at the age of 64. And even to this day, DNA tests in 2020 prove that a lot of the cases that were actually shut and closed that Henry confessed to were actually proven false, that he did not actually commit any of these murders. And he did later appeal that he was not a serial killer, that he just lied about the confession. So he himself admitted it towards the end. So there you go. Now on to Ottis Toole. So like I said, he was a drifter and a serial killer and met Henry Lee Lucas when he moved to Jacksonville, Florida. Okay, so Ottis Toole, born March 5th of 1947 in Jacksonville, Florida, got 6 counts of murder on his, was also given the death penalty and then later changed to just a life sentence. He also confessed to teaming up with Henry Lee Lucas and claiming that they killed over 1,000 people, or at least partook in all these crimes. But like Henry Lee Lucas, after admitting to all these murders, later on in prison, confessed to lying and making it up as well. Like, I'm not sure, like, if obviously they were doing it for attention or if they were really influenced by police to confess to all these crimes just because they wanted the cases closed. Who knows? So once again, Ottis Toole was born to like a shitty ass family, a father who was an alcoholic and abandoned him and his mother, who also later claims that his mother would make him also dress up in women's clothing and they would call him by the name Susan. He claimed that his grandma was also a Satanist and really like got him involved in satanic rituals and shit that she did when he was younger, and dubbed him like the devil's child. He also says that he was very abused as a child, like sexually, by close family relatives and other acquaintances of the family, a neighbor, you know, just everyone around. Labeled as like mildly retarded, and he also had epilepsy. He would run away from home a lot and would sleep in abandoned houses, and he was also a serial arsonist and claims that he was, well, not claims, if he said it himself, he was sexually aroused by starting fires and watching them. Also claims that he was forced to have sex with one of his friend's fathers when he was at the age of 5 years old, and from very early on he said that he knew he was a homosexual by the age of 10, and later on had a relationship with a 12-year-old boy next door to him. He said most of the abuse actually started when he revealed to his family that he was gay, and that's kind of when all like the sexual abuse and shit started with him. So in the 9th grade, Ottis Toole did drop out of school and would frequent gay bars and became like obsessed with gay pornography, and also became a prostitute, and claims to have committed his first murder at the age of 14 when a salesman propositioned him for sex, and Ottis Toole ran him over with his own car. Interesting, I forgot to like mention, when he met up with Henry Lee Lucas, they started their like sexual relationship with each other, and Ottis Toole claims that they started a cult called the Hands of Death, but later during police investigations and other stuff, they found out that there was like no proof of the existence of this cult. Again, it was just him lying for attention or whatever reason. I feel like I repeated myself like a million times, but I mean, these bitches were just fucking straight up liars, and that's all they really did. Like, I don't know. Anyways, one of the things I found so interesting about this, because I'm pretty sure you guys are all familiar with this, I remember hearing the story actually like at a very young age, because I'm pretty sure you guys are all aware of what's called the Adam Alert. The Adam Alert is based off the disappearance of a child named Adam Walsh, who disappeared from a store when he was shopping out with his mother, and his body was later discovered. Actually, not his body. His head was discovered in a canal, and his body was never discovered. Now, as much as I've been like interested in the serial killer like stuff, I've heard of Ottis Toole, but I've actually never really looked too much into his like, you know, crimes and his story. But I was so like, what? I didn't know that allegedly Ottis Toole was the one who killed Adam Walsh. So let me get into the story of Adam Walsh real quick. So Adam Walsh was born on November 14th of 1974 in Hollywood, Florida. His parents were John Walsh and Reneve Walsh. Sorry if I got that wrong. And he was at a department store with his mom. He was shopping at Sears. His mom left him to play video games while she went off to go look at lamps or something that she was going to buy. When she returned, he was gone, and she panicked and she couldn't find him. She eventually called her husband, and you know, he went over. She said that she was talking to security around the mall. No one had seen him, and no one also like helped. By the time the father did like get to Sears to like meet up with her, no one had called the police. No one was really making a big deal about it, and they spent all night searching for him, and of course nothing ever turned up. At so like the story is like pretty fucked up and sad. His father, John Walsh, who if you are old enough you might remember, he was actually the host for America's Most Wanted. After his son went missing, he became an activist like against violent crimes, and that's when they started like the whole Adam alert. Anytime a child goes missing, they send out an Adam alert. You get those on your phone. I remember always watching him on America's Most Wanted. I used to watch that with my mom all the time when I was a kid, and then later on found out he himself had such like a horrific, terrible story about losing his own son. So his parents really did spend like a long time looking for him, and were even offering $100,000 for the safe return of their son. They were like all over the news, everywhere they could be, just to get the word out that their son was missing and that they really wanted him back. Like they were like desperately like, no questions, just bring our son back safe, offering $100,000, and unfortunately that never happened. On August 10th, about 130 miles away from Adam was taken, a human head was found in a canal, which later was to be identified as Adam Walsh. So this case was open for quite some time. Adam did go missing, well, murdered, in 1981 of July 27th. And not till December of 2008 was it finally closed, because Otis Toole had confessed to the murder of Adam Walsh. He kind of gave like details that kind of like did in a way show that he was the one who murdered him. Still, no one was really too sure on it, but in 2008 of December they decided that they were satisfied with Otis Toole being the murderer, and the case was closed. So I don't know, that's kind of fucked up. Like if it wasn't him and the killer, whoever did this, is still out there, like, and we'll never know because they just decided they didn't feel like really searching or doing anything else about it. They're like, oh, this liar who confessed to all these other murders that weren't true, confessed to killing this little boy, and they just decided like, okay, we'll go with it. But on September 15th of 1996, at just 49 years old, Otis Toole died in prison of cirrhosis of the liver. And now, like, no, I'm sorry if this case is like all over the place. Like, as I was reading up on Henry Lee Lucas, I honestly didn't know about his like involvement with Otis Toole. So like my info and everything kind of went all over the place, because like, well, I gotta mention them both. I can't just talk about one and not the other when like they have such like a major role in each other's crimes and stuff. I was like, okay, I have to mention both of them. And then I read the Adam Walsh story about it, and I was like, oh my god, that is also such like a well-known huge thing. And I didn't know Otis Toole confessed to the murder of it, or like was, you know, charged for it. So hopefully you guys took all that info in. I'm sorry if it was a little all over the place, like I said. Yeah, I don't know. So I don't know, I was talking to a lot of people, because like I said, a lot of people were asking me like, oh my god, I love these videos, who's your next one? And I mentioned Henry Lee Lucas, and as I did, people, a lot older people, were like, oh yeah, like I remember that story. I think he was bullshitting. I don't think he actually committed all the murders he did. So when I heard that, I was like, what? So like, is he really a serial killer? So as I read up on him, yeah, like it was like alleged serial killer because he did bullshit about everything. So I thought that was pretty interesting. Like, you know, he got this title of one of America's most known serial killers, along with Otis Toole, and it could be all fabricated and made up. I thought that was pretty interesting, but we'll go ahead and end it here. So hopefully you guys found this story interesting today. I really did. I didn't know half of the shit I reported to you guys today. I was like, okay, this one really took me in a whole new direction, learning more about Henry Lee Lucas and Otis Toole. But hopefully you guys are enjoying these videos. Like I said, they're super interesting to make. If you know about a crime that you want me to, like, you know, share with everyone, please let me know in the comments below, or message me on Instagram. I'll leave that down in the link below right next to my TikTok. If you guys want to hang out with me in between the uploads, you can always find me there. If you want to tip this witch, I'll leave my Cash App down below too, and I would greatly appreciate it. But like I always say, what I would appreciate so much more is if you subscribe to this cult, smash that like button, hit that bell for notifications, and until the next time, this is Terror Krueger, and I'll see you ghouls later. Bye.